A Place for All My Books is a competitive multiplayer game, which is mainly multiplayer solo. There are some interactions, but not huge. You are playing the role of an introvert, very cozy, and you like to stay home. And you need to stay home to recharge your social battery, recharge your introverter. When you're ready to go out, then you will go to the town and you'll buy more books, and then you'll go home and you'll need to do your little projects to be able to recharge your battery again. So during the game you will be working part on a personal board such as this one that represents your home, and then when you're ready to go, when your social battery is charged enough, then you'll go to the town, which is represented by a board that is shared by all players, so multiple players may be there. There you collect books, you collect other neat stuff. No, that really is the name of a type of resource, the other neat stuff. And then you will go back, and that's kind of gonna be the loop. When you go back to town, you will move the sun on that track there. The length of the track depends on the number of players. So when the sun reaches the end of the track, so that means that people have gone to town a couple of times. You finish the current round, then you play one more round, and then the game is over and you score points, and the player with the most points wins the game. There are several ways of scoring points, but we'll talk about that later. The general idea is that when it is your turn, you will take one action, and the action needs to be different from the one you took the previous round. So you can't take the same action multiple times in a row. In order to keep track of that, also to keep track of where you are, you have your own personal meeple, and you will place the meeple on the current action, so you know that at the beginning of the next turn you have to move the meeple somewhere. At the beginning, your social battery is low, and so you need to stay home until you feel real good and ready to go. When you're home, two common actions that you will take are sorting and gathering. And it's, as you can see, your board is also a great player aid that describes the general idea of the rules. Important, actually, before we go there, is the little projects. The little projects are cards. At the beginning of the game, you receive 5, and you can choose. And you can choose 3. This one, okay. This one I can't do. This one looks reasonable. All right. So I got my little projects, and I'm ready to go. Sorting. I gain 1 social battery. Feeling more social already. And then I pick up a stack of books and I redistribute them anywhere on the board, basically on top of other stacks. I'm spreading them out so I cannot put more than 2 books per stack, and also stacks cannot be more than 6. So I'm looking at my little projects here. There is one that says I must not have any blue book in the bedroom or the bath. Then easy, I'm gonna take the sorting action and I'm gonna spread these in other spaces, and maybe I'll put one there and one there and one there, for example. That's it. Gathering, social battery, boop. And this is kind of the opposite. I take one book from the top of any number of stacks, in essence up to 6, and then I make another stack. And so, for example, for that action I could do this and this and this and this, and I could do more, but say I'm happy I made a stack of 4 from 4 different stacks. And that would be for the sorting and gathering. Resting, 2 social batteries, so that's where you get more little projects. You will gain 2 little projects cards from a dedicated deck. I get these 2 cards, and no red books in the den and the kitchen, and 4 red books I'm on my corner space. Right now I only have 2 red books, so that's not gonna happen. But 2 not in the den and in the kitchen, that seems doable, although the den is there. Alright, I'm gonna go and sort again, because remember, I can, because I didn't take the action right away. And I'm gonna sort this into these locations here. Like that. Which leads us to an action which is very important. Oh, I should gain a battery for that. Which is admiring. For an action of admiring, you look at your projects and you score as many as your situation matches their description. So it's more efficient if you can complete multiple little projects with a single admiring action. Also, each player has a favorite kind of box, so you always have a card that will give you 3 social battery if the book associated with you is the most common. For example, this character likes green. Right now, I start with 4 green, so I definitely meet that condition. I get 3 social battery for that. 1, 2, 3. And look at me. I don't think there are any red books in the den or in the kitchen. Then is that one, and kitchen is that one. No red. So I complete this one, which gives me 3 social battery. 1, 2, 3, and it will be worth 2 victory points at the end of the game. Every little project is worth 2 victory points. There was another one that I thought I completed. No blue books in the bedroom or in the bath. There you go. I completed this one also. 3 more social battery. 1, 2, 3. And 2 victory points later. I think this is what I have for now. Then somebody else will take their turn, and when it's my turn again, let's see, another thing that I can do at home is I can read a book. I will gain 2 social batteries, and then I will move a book from anywhere, not necessarily the top of a stack, to my nightstand. We'll see why that is something that may be of interest, like so. These are the actions I have at home. Another action that I have at home is to leave the house. It will immediately cost me 5. I'm at 16, I'll go down to 11. But then it allows me to go to this board and choose where I go on this board, and that will determine the action where I go. And also that advances the track, the solar track there. So what am I doing in town? A very popular place is the bookstore. The bookstore has 3 bookshelves, smallest, a medium, and a largest. And interacting with the largest cost me 6 battery, medium 3, smallest 1. Each has a card, a little project card in front of it, and a number of books at the beginning of the game is 3, 2, 1. That may change. Suppose I decide to go, I'll go for the for the big one. So I spent 6, I was at 11, I got to 5, oof. The 6th one gives me this project card here and these books here. And the project is something that I add to my hand and I hope to get later. That is replenished by drawing another card, and then we take our bag of books. I love it, so many nice little books. We draw 3 and we add 1 to each stack. Isn't that neat? Because what that does is that now we still have a smallest, a medium, and a largest. It's just that which one is which will change. I think that's super neat. Love it. So that's one way of acquiring books. When I'm in town, I can also go to the library. Then I'll draw 4 random ones from the bag. And that is 3, tells you how good I am at math. 4 random ones from the bag. I keep 1 for myself, and then the other 3 are placed randomly in the other places here. Are we stealing from the library and reselling to the bookstore? I like to think this is the friends of the library bookstore, you know, where they put you're delivering the overflow to them. That's how I like to see it, so I can sleep at night. Exchange. For only 1 social battery, I can return any number of tokens from my nightstand. I read them already. Return them to the bag, and then I take the same amount plus 1 of my choice from the bag. And so I return that one and say then I want a yellow and a green. Does it make sense? Not necessarily, but I'm explaining the game, not playing competently. We also had the village shops. That village shops, they will have, that's where you get the cards that come from the other neat stuff deck. There are 2 of them that are available here. 2 of them that are available. These are the ones. There you go. 2 neat of the stuff available. For For social battery, I can acquire either of them. For 9 battery, I can get both. For 3 battery, I can just draw randomly. And these will give me, sometimes, they always give me victory points at the end of the game. Sometimes they give me immediate effects. Sometimes they give you effects every time a certain condition is met. And some will give me specific victory conditions. For example, if you collect books, you probably also want to collect board games. And so if you have a certain number of cards representing board games, you will have extra points at the end of the game. Again, sometimes it's when you acquire this plus other actions. So a lot of different effects there. Plus they're all worth some victory points. That's for the other neat stuff. When you're in town, it can get crowded. If somebody wants to go to the same location where you are, they do so and they nudge you to bounce you to the park, which is pretty good because then you get 2 batteries looking at the ducks. Very relaxing. And that's pretty much the only direct interaction that makes sense, meaning the player may do on purpose something not to nudge somebody else, otherwise you're affecting people kind of randomly. I take a certain stack because I need it, not probably to affect somebody else. That's too much thinking, at least for me. So these are the actions, am I right? Now, remember, we go to town to collect books. Where do we place them? We place them in the 2 backpack spaces. As we acquire new book, we can put them on either side of the backpack as we want. But once they're there, they're locked. And just like other stacks, the maximum is 6. So I got 5 here. Maybe I'm going around and exchanging, doing other stuff. And that's what happens. This one has 6. This one has 6, so I'm good. And then it may be time to go back home because I wanna, or because my social battery is like. So to go back home, you announce that you're doing it. You take your meeple from the town board and you place it here. That is when you take your 2 stacks, if you have to, most likely you do, your 2 stacks from the backpack and you place them anywhere where it is legal. That was stack is a 6, so it needs to go to an empty space. This one is 4. I could place it on top of a single or even 2 yellow ones, but I decide to place it here because it looks nice. And I'm home. Now I have access to the home actions, which is probably what I'm gonna try to do is to move these books around, try to complete little projects, charge my battery in the process, and go back and forth until the end of the game, which we said is triggered by the sun. At the end of the game, you will score points. Each book you acquired is a point. Pretty neat. Each little project is 2 points. These, the other neat stuff cards will give you points. At the beginning of the game, you draw 3 major accomplishment cards. Some are doable, some are extremely terribly difficult to achieve. During the game, when you fulfill the condition of a major achievement, you will place your token there if you're the first player to complete it. Otherwise, you place it on that side. And so, as you can see, we'll simply have different amounts of victory points at the end of the game. That's it. Collect points from every possible source. The player with the highest amount of points wins the game. And then we have the solo version, in which you set up for 2 players and you're fighting against your rival, Penelope Everyday. She is social. She's an extrovert. She can just go around town all day long and doesn't need to recharge. I bet she irons her jeans and she's evil. Let's see who gets that reference. So you're gonna create a deck of cards from a pool of cards, and which ones you include will make the Penelope more or less evil, more or less effective. Once you have her deck of cards, you shuffle them, you place them here. She also has a token that indicates her position, but her position is not terribly important unless you are in town also, because she may nudge you to a park. So you take your turn as normal, that's it. And then you draw a card. When I draw the first card, I simply do what, I place it there, very important. Then I count how many cards she has in her row. She will have more. And then I activate the effect that corresponds to the line of how many she has. This is the first card, so I activate this thing here. She goes to the cafe, which is her personal space there on her card, and she gains 3 books from the back. There, Penelope, you hoarder of books. And that's it for now. Then I take my turn and I draw the next card. Now there are 2, so I'm still looking at this column. She's just snoozing at the library. And actually, no, she's not going. She goes to the library, but then she's doing her library action, which is she draws a book from the bag and she adds a book to each shelf of the bookstore. There you go. So I think you get the idea. Now I take my turn, then she takes hers, and we do this action. Now I take my turn, and when it's her next turn, she has 4. And so we need to take this action. As you can see, her actions are increasingly more powerful. So you need to manage this row of cards here. And you stack them this way so you can see those symbols there. You can't let that row go too far, because actually, as you can see, she can also advance the game. The sun advances, so you have less time to do your stuff. And most important, if the deck runs out, you lose the game, which happened to me once playing solo. It's not good. How the heck do you get rid of those cards from there? By completing projects. When you complete a project, if it names a specific color, you can discard all cards in Penelope's row that have that color. So if I completed this project here, I can discard these 2. For now, I'll put them there on top of her deck. If I complete one that is colorless, then I can remove all of the colorless ones. And again, I put them there. And what happens next? All the cards that I discarded, I shuffle them back into her deck, and that was my action. Say that was my turn in which I admired my collection, completing these 2 projects. I remove part, and now it's her turn, and now we look again at the first row of her card, because we only have 2. And so you gotta constantly try to complete those projects. She does put a lot of pressure on you. And this is how you play the solo version. This game is absolutely delightful, and the thing transpired even the first time that I played it, it was for 4 players, and it was a bit slow, not just because we were learning the game, but because of the downtime, because most of the time you're only playing 25% of the game, and you will want to spend your time really managing your books, because a single book from a stack that is there, you thought it was there, is not there, it was 5, it's 6, then you don't fulfill a certain condition. So there is downtime there, so be warned. And yet it was so pleasant to create literally my little projects and collect literally other neat stuff that was neat indeed, and setting up a certain situation, scoring it, getting the loop with the town, very neat. And again, it's a little bit of an extra puzzle whether or not you're gonna nudge somebody into the park, but you're gonna do it, because if there is a nice card that you need there, it's worth giving 2 points of social battery to the other players. And then I play the game solo, and I love it. So I think for me, this is gonna be maybe 2-player game for multiplayer experience, or solo. And usually I play games solo all the time, but I prefer 2-handed solo. I rarely enjoy the AIs that come with the game, because sometimes it feels you're going through auto steps for not a lot of rewards. But this is an excellent AI, because it's not just that it replaces the human opponent, but it gives the experience a different flavor, because it's not just enough to complete a certain number of projects, but you also need a certain type of projects, which is a kind of like trouble you don't have against a human opponent. I'm going to complete 3 projects, and they're the simplest in my hand, so I'm going to do those. That's great. But here, well, I need to complete a project that is without any color, because the ones that I am ready to complete right now, they don't put enough of a dent in the row that Penelope has there. Oh, I need to complete a red one. I need to complete a blue one. Sometimes when you play multiplayer, you got like 2 or 3 projects even like ready by the end of turn one. You adjust your things a little bit if you were lucky during your initial selection. You adjust things a little bit, and then the second action you admire your work. And sometimes I complete 2 or 3 projects in solo, and I don't want to actually cast them in yet because again I need to manage her row. I need to wait a little bit longer. It's really a different kind of set of challenges, which is just so much fun, and I love that. It's not 2 different games, but 2 different ways of playing the game. Of course, I didn't mention that it's not enough to make sure that you don't lose to the AI because of the cards that are out. You also need to score better because at the end the AI also gets to score mainly books, and she just collect cards, and she gets a standard amount of points. But it works so well, and so multiplayer or solo, you really have this nice little puzzle. Again, I enjoyed the solo because the downtime was minimal, the AA was so lean to manage, and again, I'll play it with other people, but again, it's gonna be maybe one person. I think that's gonna be ideal because the general flow, the general atmosphere is great. Collect your resources, collect your sets, play your little puzzle inside your head, and then see them pan out. The components are very nice. The art, the tokens, they really contribute to this coziness of the whole thing. I'm just loving it. I love it, especially solo. And again, I think I'm gonna love it with maybe just one other player. I liked it. I liked with 4, but if you're afraid of downtime, just know that there is that possibility there. In general, Plays for My Books is a really nice game. It's a light brain burn, just enough of a puzzle to keep you entertained, to make it worth to try to line up those puzzles, those sets, create those situations. It has a great theme. Finally, somebody representing us introverts who are very social. We just need to charge the introvert in between. It captures even that element thematically. So from pretty much every point of view, I'm really impressed with A Place for All My Books, and I'm really happy that I have it in my collection.